you want me to talk to people about what your session is and how you kick off the training on day one at Jim's Street?
Two things. First of all, I talk about customer service. I talk about what customer service is, how we give the best customer service. I also talk about the systems that we use to drive customer service. Things like complaints and lead fees and surveys and so forth, and how they can, and how customer service can really help them to be successful. And the second part of the talk is about service to franchisees, which is what we do for franchisees to make them successful. All the different things like training and selection, meetings, proactive calls, all those things. And then we talk about the way that we give them rights that are unprecedented in franchising terms.
One thing that's very surprising, I think people don't realise, you spend the last 10 minutes, you really go on a big, you make a clear point to them about your contactable at all times. You make it very, very clear. So maybe we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Well, look, one of the most valuable parts about my job is to actually be in contact with franchisees. I try and create some bonds and training, and then I want them to ring me or contact me, email me if they've got any kinds of issues, because often I can solve their issues. I can do something about it. Somebody can have problems for contract for weeks and I can just solve it like that and get them going, for example. Or there's a problem, they haven't got enough work and I can point something that they haven't looked at or the franchisor hasn't looked at, and they can solve their issues so many times. But the other thing too, which is equally important, it helps me to understand what franchisees are thinking and what they're going through, and how we can improve the system, make it better for them. And thousands of different things are changed in the system based on franchisee feedback. The biggest struggle I have is not people ringing me too much. They don't contact me enough. I don't get enough feedback from franchisees, so I don't hear about things that are going wrong. And then sometimes I can hear and I say, wow, okay, there's a problem, let's work on it.
We won't show it, but you literally do write your personal mobile number and email address on the whiteboard.
Yeah, email address is easy. I don't mind who has that. Phone number is only for my franchisees, and I threaten them with sudden death if they tell anybody else, because it's only for them.
And also on Mondays, not only we have day one of training, but we also have Ask Jim. So maybe you want to talk about Ask Jim and what that's about.
This evening for an hour, anybody who wants to can write in questions and send them in, and we actually get a lot of questions from the participants, anything at all. I'm happy to answer questions about business, but I love talking about history or current affairs or happiness or health. Or I'm a huge reader. I love reading books. I read several books a week, and I've always got ideas about everything. So it's really fun actually. It's a great session, and I even tell a joke.
You do tell a joke, but 1 second, Bob. And I want to make it clear that every franchisee who comes to the training, I know it's a bit of self-promotion, but
every franchisee gets one of these. Well, we give them away, so it's not as though they're one of those books it's very useful. We like people to have this book because it gets them to understand the culture of the business. And this is not a business I'm not somebody who doesn't make mistakes. I make lots and lots of really stupid mistakes. But when you talk about the culture, the values, the things that are important to us, which is particularly franchisees' welfare. That's our number one priority. And also customer service and how that contributes to success. So it's really useful for franchisees to read this.
Now, an off-the-cuff question, but with interest rates and they're trying to scare everyone about the economy is going to be recessions and all that sort of stuff, maybe you want to talk about how this franchise option can provide a good...
We have close to 40% of our leads unserviced right now. And I would expect that if there's a recession, which is not unlikely, we'll actually be in a fantastically strong position. Because in actual fact, our biggest problem is we haven't got enough franchisees. Even though we're growing, we're doing really well, we're having a great year. We'll probably hit 5,000 franchisees shortly. The leads are going up even faster. So what we find is actually historically, the best growth we ever had was back in the early 90s during the Keating recession, when we grew by 400 franchisees in a single year, because we had the work. And franchisees, people were losing jobs and so forth in the building industry, and they were coming to us and buying franchises. So actually, if the economy goes down, it's probably going to be a great time for us. Not that I want that to happen. I don't want Australia to suffer. But if there is a recession, we're going to have lots and lots of work, and we're going to be a safe haven.
If someone wants to attend the training behind you, what's the best thing they can do? How can they get involved?
All they have to do is to ring the office, 131546, or go online and say they're interested in the franchise, say what they're interested about, and they can come and do the training. They actually do the training before they sign. So they don't actually have to make a decision. In fact, we don't want them to make a decision till after they completed the training. There's a small cost for training. So it's quite possible to actually come to the training and then start your own business. People sometimes do that. So we don't allow it, it's fine. We don't discourage it, it's fine. it's a really, really good course. We've actually found that since we put the course in place, our attrition rate has dropped dramatically because we give people such good preparation for running a business.